Well, thanks. I mean, I feel a lot better, today than we did Sunday morning, I guess, or after Saturday night. So we had a lot of speed in our car. When we got out front early, I could tell that we had a really fast car. We just I had to figure out where to put it and, who to be with and how to try to get people to help you and all that. So early on, Jimmy was able, I seen him outside, and I went up in front of him, and he was able to push us all the way to the front. We were able to stay up there for quite a while in the beginning together, and then he got around me. So when I saw him on the outside at the end, I just decided that was my best shot for the win. Instead of trying to get under one of the guys in front of me and still have one in front of me, so I just kind of backed up to his bumper, and he stayed right with me and just kept shoving me all the way through there.
Open it back up for questions. We'll go back here to Dave, where we're going to start again. Dave, Mike, and then Jorge.
Dave Coleman, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Jack, did you figure you were going to be in here with Biffle, or were you worried because he was in front that you weren't coming in here at all?
Well, to be leading the race as much as Greg did kind of sets you up to be a sitting duck. I had a sense of foreboding that he probably wouldn't be there, but I'd hoped that he would. Certainly, the fact that the thing had strung out a little bit gave me hope. But it would been unusual for there not to be a challenge from two cars. I'm just happy that Matt was in front of Jimmy instead of Jimmy in front of Matt.
Let's go to let's get Mike first. I had Mike in the queue, Mike, and then Jorge, and then Dave.
Yep, Mike Muller. This is for Matt. That was a great move on the swing to the inside on Biffle. Were you surprised that Biffle went up high like he did? He gave the two lower lanes there. I was really surprised at that.
Well, we were going so much faster that we were going to go by him regardless. So I think that was his only hope, is to try to get up the track and try to line my front bumper up where I had to push him. But the problem was I was going too fast, and even if I wanted to slow down, which I didn't on the last lap, I couldn't have. Jimmy was pushing me so hard, and we were locked together, and I know Jimmy can't see what's going on up there. So, I mean, I had no other choice. Wherever he went, I was just going to go the opposite way. So I'm just thankful when he did do that block that Jimmy was able to be clear, because when I turned down to the bottom, if Jimmy couldn't have squeezed up through there in the middle, and I would have lost the seal right there, we would have been history. But luckily, we were able to stay together and get clear of them guys.
Let's go to Jorge next, and then Kim.
Jorge Mendaca, FoxSports.com. Matt, a relatively calm race, the second duel. Do you expect that to be the norm for Sunday, or do you expect the nerves to get in people, and maybe we'll see something like Saturday night?
I think you'll see a little mixture of everything, but hopefully we see more like we saw in the second race. It was warm out there. There was a little bit of handling that came into play. And it was a lot harder to get from the back to the front than what I expected. When I was able to get Greg up to the lead there, he worked his way to the bottom, and I was the only one on the top. And we dropped back quite a ways, and I think that was before a pit stop, wasn't it? And we had to come in. Jimmy made a great call getting no tires, how to get back in front of them guys. And or else I don't think we would have got back to the front. It was tough once you got shuffled back to work your way all the way to the front. The cars were hot enough where you couldn't lock together for very long, especially if you're in the back of the pack. And it was tough to get there. So there's going to be more cars, obviously, out there in the 500, so there'll be a bigger hole in the air, and the rear cars will have bigger runs and going faster, and that'll create more passing. But I think you're going to kind of see a mixture. Hopefully we see more of what we saw today, at least from my standpoint.
Go ahead, Kim.
Kim Robertson, Insider Racing News. Matt, you've raced now in two different races, and essentially Saturday seemed to be a lot more chaotic than today. Was there anything that you took away from one race or the other race or both races that you'll help? I mean, you were talking about cutting through the air and not being able to stay together, but since you have raced in two different forms of racing, I'm not making this very clear, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What have you taken away from it, and how are you going to apply it on Sunday?
Well, I think the biggest difference from Saturday to today, well, there's a couple things. The track conditions are fairly different. It was real cool out Saturday, and obviously it was dark, so there was more grip. The engines ran cooler. You could push longer. And it was the first race of the season, and it was the first race with these rules. And I think a lot of people were feeling different things out. And I think even the guys that weren't in that race that got to watch on TV learned a lot. When you get on somebody's left rear, you're going to spin them out. I just think you learned a lot about how big the run was, where you can help push people where you can't, what information you want from your spotter. I think a lot of people watch that race, and the people that were in it that wrecked probably learned a lot from it as well, and I think that probably played a little bit into today.
Yeah, go.
Back to the back left, Dave Rodman.
Yeah, Matt, Dave Rodman with NASCAR.com. What kind of engine temperatures did you see, and to any degree did it affect the way you were able to race?
Okay, I'll call you.
210. I'm just kidding. I thought Jack was going to punch me if I said how hot it was. I didn't really watch the gauge a lot, honestly. I more watched if water was coming out and where our water pressure was. Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you for a long time. So you really watch that more than anything. And like at the end, I'm sure Jimmy's car was hot pushing me, but after you take the white, the race isn't going to be restarted. It doesn't really matter from a driver's perspective. You're going to get all the speed you can out of it. So it was probably a little warmer and lost a little more water than what I would have liked, but I think it's going to be a little cooler Sunday. The only other little bit of a concern, from my standpoint, especially being in the back, if you get a little trash on the grill or something, there's not a lot of room for error there, but it was okay.
Another question here, Dave Coleman.
Matt, I know it's hard to two things. It's hard probably to rank victories, but can you kind of put this one in perspective? And could you also then sort of expound on what happened when you pushed Greg to the front and then dropped to like 13th?
Yeah, it's always really fun to win, no matter what kind of race it is. I mean, obviously, it's half the field. It's not a points race, so it's not like winning the Daytona 500 or going and winning Phoenix or whatever. But it's still a big win for us. We've never been able to win one of these races down here, shootout or 150s or any of that stuff. And we've been trying for a long time, so it feels good to have everything go right there then and have everything line up and to be able to win that race. It feels good. It feels you feel a lot more confident than what you do after having a bad race like Saturday where you get wrecked. With Greg, we just he got back there and I started pushing him, and we got locked together real good. And I was going to push him all the way to the lead, and I could push just a little bit longer, or I was going to be too hot. And the guy who was leading kind of pulled me off of Greg just a little bit, and Greg had the momentum, and he just pulled to the bottom because I think he thinks that we were going to probably go to the back. So we needed to stay sealed up, pushing each other for another 15 feet, so we could have both cleared that car and got down. But as soon as he got clear, he felt we separated, and I think he just pulled in line there, and it just kind of left me by myself and had a slow journey from second to 13. So it took kind of the day to get back in there. But it's even if he would have stayed out there, I don't know that we would have got him. So I mean, that's your job as a driver when you got he got up to the lead and had a chance to get down in there and stay in position, try to win the race. And that's what you're supposed to do is take that spot.